The massive American formation of more than 1,000 bombers, plus over 500 escort fighters, seemed endless. The sky was filled with them. The Americans were confident. Allied air supremacy reigned over all of Germany, but rumors of a new Luftwaffe aircraft so fast it could barely be seen had been spreading alarmingly. But few believed them, until suddenly bomber after bomber was shot down with accurate cannon fire that tore them to pieces. As the P-51 scrambled to search for the intruders, dozens of twin-jet engines roaring with power joined the cacophony of war. Over 30 Messerschmitt 262 jet fighters streaked through the skies and unleashed a barrage of 30mm cannon fire against the bomber formation. Their swept-wing design gave them never-before-seen maneuverability, making them difficult to track for the hundreds of P-51s. Quick and accurate bursts were more than enough to wreak havoc in the formation. As the Allied aircraft swarmed the small pack of the world's first jet-powered fighters, the Me-262s swiftly disappeared on the horizon, victorious at the cost of minimal casualties. Project 1065. In the aftermath of World War I, British, German, American, and other European engineers commenced studies for developing aircraft powered by a jet engine. In Germany, Hans von Ohain was praised for designing the first turbojet engine. At the same time, the British Frank Whittle was also considered a precursor of the turbojet. Aircraft companies BMW and Umo were major contributors to introducing this new powerful engine type. In early 1939, the German Ministry of Aviation greenlit Project 1065 to deliver an aircraft powered by a jet engine that could reach up to 850 kilometers per hour. Engineer Voldemar Voigt, a pioneer of swept-wing aircraft designs, and seasoned aviator Robert Lusser began a design process with Messerschmitt. In June 1939, Messerschmitt and Heinkel submitted their designs. Heinkel's HE-280 prototype was discarded in favor of Project 1065, but still awarded some funding to both designs. Prior to the German invasion of Poland in September 1939, Heinkel launched the HE-1878 to the skies, which became the first jet-powered aircraft in the world to take to the skies. Heinkel had another breakthrough with the HE-280 in April 1941. Still, the Ministry of Aviation gave its support to Messerschmitt to develop 3 flight test models, designated Me-262, and the name Schwalbe, or Swallow. The first design of the Me-262 also took flight in April 1941, but under the power of a Junko's Umo 210G piston engine. The head of the Luftwaffe, Hermann Göring, was unsatisfied with the amount of funding the jet engine program received and cut it, hindering the progress engineers were making. The Swallow. While the BMW and Umo jet engines remained to be delivered, the Me-262 team perfected the aircraft's design. Developing an aerodynamic and groundbreaking design took time. On the drawing board, the airframe went from straight to pseudo-swept wings, the engines buried under each straight-wing assembly, all in the name of a new approach to aviation. The result was an airframe that pushed the boundaries of aeronautical engineering. The Me-262 featured a sleek, streamlined fuselage with swept-back wings and a twin-engine configuration that departed from conventional piston-powered aircraft. The airframe was made primarily of metal, mainly aluminum, with an innovative retractable tricycle landing gear for improved stability during takeoff and landing. The 2 Junkers Umo engines, positioned beneath the wings, were advanced aerial flow jet engines with impressive speed and power. The Swallow could reach a maximum speed of up to 900 kilometers per hour and maintain a cruise speed of 765 kilometers per hour. The jet fighter had a service ceiling of 11,500 meters, a rate of climb of 1,200 meters per minute, and a maximum range of 1,050 kilometers. The swept-back wings reduced drag and enhanced maneuverability at high speeds. Additionally, the Me-262's canopy was designed with a distinctive forward-swept shape to optimize visibility for the pilot at all times. The Swallow had a wingspan of 12.5 meters, a length of 12.1 meters, a height of 3.8 meters, and a gross weight of 6,010 kilograms. On July 19, 1942, Flugkapitän Fritz Wendel flew the first Me-262 fitted with powerful jet engines and immediately sent sparks of hope across the Luftwaffe. The tide of the war had changed. The grim horizon had now turned against Germany and the Führer, and Göring hoped the introduction of the Me-262 would shift air dominance in Europe. Stormbird. Renowned pilot Adolf Galland was so impressed by the incredible performance and power of the Me-262 that he pushed the Air Ministry to order immediate production. Although some tweaks were still needed, such as fixing the ejection seat and cockpit pressurization, the Luftwaffe agreed to manufacture over 60 Me-262s a month. The Führer, too, was highly pleased with the design and suggested developing an Me-262 for a tactical bomber role. This variant was dubbed the Sturmvogel, or Stormbird. Production and resources were already limited, and Adolf Hitler insisted on transferring more funds to develop the fighter-bomber variant, leading to a tighter schedule. The base Me-262 was armed with four 30mm Mark 108 automatic cannons in the nose section. It had an external bomb load of 550 kilograms and could carry bombs, rockets, and Rurstall X-4 wire-guided air-to-air missiles under the fuselage. Later models would be fitted with MG-151 cannons, Mark 103 and Mark 108 cannons, and 50mm Mauser Mark 214 and Rheinmetall BK-5 cannons. Besides the standard fighter Schwalbe and fighter-bomber Sturmvogel variants, Messerschmitt was forced to employ the aircraft for reconnaissance, interception, and night operations. Combat operations. Erprobungskommando 262 was the first Me-262 operational unit to be activated in April 1944 under the command of ace pilot Hauptmann Werner Thierfelder. The first Me-262's prey was a British Mosquito recon aircraft shot down over Munich. The score quickly rose to over 20 Allied aircraft following the Normandy landings of June 1944 at the cost of 6 Me-262s. American and British pilots were baffled by the tremendous speed of the Me-262. It was unbeatable in the skies, unless heavily overwhelmed by Allied fighters, which was often the case. No Allied aircraft could catch up or outmaneuver the German fighter. Me-262 fighters would resort to diving attacks at high speeds to avoid being tracked down by other fighters. US and RAF bomber formations and their escorts were left at the mercy of the Swallow. There was no counter to the highly maneuverable Me-262, but the Allied command found cunning ways to destroy them. With the proper intelligence, conventional fighters made the Me-262 vulnerable during takeoff and landing operations. Although over 1,400 Me-262s were produced, no more than 300 were ever active, and over 450 were destroyed by bombing runs before the war ended. In January 1945, a unit of Me-262s undertook their largest and most coordinated combat operation against an Allied airfield in Belgium. Despite encountering heavy anti-aircraft fire and Allied fighters, Me-262s inflicted significant damage on enemy aircraft and installations as part of Operation Bodenplatte. On March 18, 1945, over 37 Me-262 fighters mounted another large-scale attack against a massive Allied bomber formation of over 1,220 bombers and 630 fighters. The interceptors managed to destroy 12 bombers and several fighters at the cost of only 3 Me-262s. This remarkable 4-to-1 ratio was not uncommon for Me-262 fighters to achieve in combat, but it did little to change the tide of the conflict. Too late for a change. The few Me-262s in service were split between the Western and Eastern fronts and employed for different types of operations. Fuel and ammunition shortages, as well as a lack of experienced pilots that could fly it effectively, hindered the aircraft's operational capabilities. As Germany's downfall became imminent, American P-51 Mustangs began to challenge the Me-262s with their excellent armament and agility. Intense dogfights between Mustangs and isolated Me-262s became common during the last days of the war. Despite its excellent performance, the Me-262 was developed in small quantities. It arrived too late to change the outcome of Allied air supremacy over Europe. During the post-war, Luftwaffe ace Galland said, quote, "I'll never change an opinion I've expressed often, that with just 300 Messerschmitt Me-262 jet fighters, we could have, on any day, shot down a minimum of 200 bombers." He always disliked Hitler's idea of making the Me-262 a bomber, and employed all aircraft under his command for their intended air-to-air role. When the Third Reich crumbled, the US launched Operation Lusty to capture as many Me-262 materials as possible. Other Allied nations did the same. The Allied forces even uncovered German and Japanese plans to develop the jet-powered Nakajima Kika, or Orange Blossom fighter, employing Me-262 blueprints. However, it never came to be. The innovations of the Me-262 paved the way for the next generation of American, British, French, and Soviet fighters. Some say North American Aviation's Larry Green began to study German to read Me-262 manuals and incorporate design ideas into the F-86 Saberjet that saw combat during the Korean War and Vietnam. Today, the Messerschmitt Me-262 is regarded not just as the world's first operational jet-powered fighter aircraft, but as a groundbreaking contributor to many of the technologies still employed today in aircraft. Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe to our Dark Documentaries channels to find more exciting content about German aircraft and modern warfare. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of our newest videos.